We haven't even started drinking yet today.
Oh, God. Welcome to Scrutiny with Cheri and Andy. I'm Cheri Hardman. This is my good friend,
Andy Vargo.
How are you today?
I'm good. I had a full day with lots of walking, and my legs are tired, so I've been kind of just relaxing a little bit before I go on to the second half of the day.
Were you running errands or hiking with Laura?
I went with my friend Kirsten, and we walked Ruston Way this morning.
Oh,
And we did like the full length. So I don't know if it's like 3 miles down and 3 miles back, or just, just walking, and she's walking her dog and visiting, have a great chat. And it's been a while since we caught up and had the heart to heart time, so that was good.
right, yeah.
And I got home and I was kind of resetting after doing that. Excuse me.
Stop.
Sorry. There you go. I'm just testing to see if you are a psychopath or not. So I got home, and like half an hour after I got home, I got a text from another old friend who I haven't seen in at least over a year. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to go walk Chambers. Do you want to join me?" And I'm just like, I want to see you. I do want to do that, but I don't know if I want to walk another 3 miles or whatever it is to go around Chambers. So then I went and did that. And so now I will be not walking tomorrow. But anyway, so then I was just kind of chilling, and that's a boring story, just to say that I haven't been completely lazy today, but I didn't get some other things done.
Well, you got your steps in for sure.
I did. I'm really excited though, because we have something really exciting coming up. We got a busy weekend.
We do. We got a couple shows in a row.
Yeah.
Coming Sunday, we are doing, after the Super Bowl, we are doing Love 'Em or Leave 'Em at Nate Jackson's Super Funny Comedy Club at 8 o'clock. The nice thing about that, like here, let's be honest. When Nate and I planned this date, we were looking for proximity to Valentine's Day. And,
right.
And even though you and I had been totally careful about booking shows at the Odd Otter, not on football nights.
Right.
Somehow this escaped both Nate and I that this was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we probably would not have planned the show for that particular day.
It's a tough night for a show, although there are a lot of people who aren't into football. There isn't a Seattle team playing this year, and it's also late enough, so you know,
you're not going to miss the game for sure. And then I noticed there are a lot of women on the guest list, of the tickets. So it'll be probably a women heavy show, which means straight men, hello, there's going to be women there. But secondly, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It doesn't matter, how many men or women are there. Plus, they are doing Super Bowl viewing at Nate Jackson's Comedy Club.
Oh, yeah.
So you can go to Super Funny and watch the game and then just stay there and watch the show. So we have a good lineup. There's you and me and Greg Beechler, Alyssa Yeoman, and Hijinks is up for
that's going to be a fun show. I'm looking forward to that. That's my first time to do a real show at Nate's. So
it is.
I've done the open mic
for that
a couple times.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. It's a good room, and it's a beautiful room. And if you haven't been there, I'm just going to wax poetic about it. No, it's a state-of-the-art comedy club. It is one of only 5 Black-owned comedy clubs in the United States, and it is the largest one by 5 seats.
Wow.
It has the only wheelchair accessible stage for miles. Like, I don't know where there are no around here comedy clubs that have accessible stage. Seattle does. Laughs, there's accessible. But, it's really hard to find. So the fact that he put the love and care into it. It's beautiful. It's physically beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a nice club. It's got a nice, interesting stage. And so, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited also that some of my friends are coming that have never been there. So I'm
Yeah.
excited just to see them appreciate the new club. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's
Definitely.
then Monday night. We're
Monday
doing the
night,
good old roast your ex show.
Yeah, and that's a fun one. You know, we did that one last year. I know you've done it several years. Last year, I got to be on it when it was Zoom,
We did
and
it
so
on
I'm
Zoom.
excited to
Yeah.
do it in person.
Yeah, so we have all, except for us, it's an all Portland cast that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Edwards is going to headline it, and he's hilarious. So I'm going to tell a story. So
Okay.
I used to run a room. I inherited it from another guy. That was Martell Hall was running a room down in Lakewood. And then he kind of burned out on it or something. And so I took over. And it was at that room that it was like Bo Blast, Hijinks, Lance Edward, and another guy named Cedric. They used to come down, they'd come all the way up, maybe not just for that open mic, but whenever they were in town, they would do that open mic, and that's where I got to know them. And
Okay.
I was really still pretty much a baby comic then. And I remember Hijinks saying to me, "You're funny. I'd like you to come down and do a contest that I have for women." And that was the first time somebody above me had looked at me and said, "You're funny." So I always,
Nice.
I always give him props for that because I don't know, comedians aren't usually that nice to each other. Let's just
Well,
say.
and you need to hear that when you're starting out. It's so nice to hear that from people that are ahead of you in the ranks. You know, it's reassuring, makes you feel good, and I think a lot of times, for good intention, a lot of times people are trying to help people by saying, "Oh, you could improve this or you could do that," and we don't realize sometimes people just need to hear, "Hey, you're doing a great job."
Right, right. And I noticed that in myself this week with someone I was talking to. I thought, I've never given this person a real compliment. So I made sure to do that. So
Nice. That's good.
Because you know me, like I'm not gonna say good set if I don't think you're funny or if I don't think it was a good set. Some people will do that out of politeness. I don't, but I don't need to err on the other side of caution. I can give a compliment when it's merited. So anyway, we got those two shows. That's great. I'm super excited. They're both going to be fun shows. I think Odd Otter is going to be pretty full.
I think so too.
And I think I put out a thing today saying comedians are welcome to come, but definitely, I don't want to say real customers, but paying customers and Odd Otters, regular customers have precedence for the seating there.
Well, and that's kind of standard for comedians going to shows for free, is that you kind of hang in the back and are respectful and, let the people who
stay out of the way. Yeah.
But it is good when people can go to shows, because it is, it's nice to be able to support your friends and not have to pay to get into all the shows, for one thing, because that adds up. And it's a good learning experience, from both how to put on a good show to learning just your own comedy. So it's important.
And seeing people that you might not normally get to see on a show. So that's cool. So we got those. But then, I got a show Thursday night with Quentin Jones in Seattle with Bo Blast and Charles Hall Jr. And that one's going to be great. And then Saturday, I have the Dope Show in Tacoma. And Sunday, I have the Dope Show in Spokane. So
wow, you're going to be on a roll.
So luckily this week I've had nothing. So I've just really tried to go to bed early and just kind
of rest up and get ready.
Drink a lot of water.
Next week, the only other thing I'm doing, it's not a show, but I'm doing the open mic at TCC on Wednesday.
And, are you?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's been a bit since I've been in there for the open mic, because I've usually been tied up on Wednesday nights. And so I'm looking forward to that. Tied up, yeah.
Who's been tying you up on Wednesdays?
I wish. Yes. So So it'll be good to get back in there. And then I have I signed up for both Nate's and for Tacoma Comedy Club this month. Just trying to kind of get back out, test some new jokes. I got some stuff I've been working on. I've been testing at smaller open mics, but I'm looking forward to doing it in the club rooms. So
Right. Well, good. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to spending some time with you. And I think you said you bought some new clothes. I'm still trying to decide what am I going to wear.
Yeah, I've got 3 new shirts, and I may wear the same one both shows because I think I like it the best. I might wear one day and one the next day. I did wear one of the new shirts last night and this morning in my TikTok video.
I saw that. I did.
See that? Yeah.
Andy's-
So hello world. I'm on TikTok now. So looking for followers, likes, and all that stuff because I need your help to make me TikTok famous. Like, I want to reach the world with my voice, and so I'm trying any way I can to get out there. So it's kind of fun. It's a little addictive on how you can make the videos. They're super easy to make. They're a pain in the butt to try to learn, but once you learn a couple tricks, they're not too bad to make them look relatively snazzy.
Well, cool. Yeah, I'm happy that you're on TikTok. I haven't done my daily, I've looked at it a couple times, but I haven't done my okay, I'm going to sit and look at my comments and my likes and check out my friends' pages and all that. But I did see yours on Facebook.
Yeah, I shared it to Facebook.
Yeah.
I've been sharing it to other social media because I don't have followers on TikTok yet. So I don't know that I will always share all of my TikTok videos all over the place, but I don't know why I wouldn't. I mean, we'll see.
Well, sometimes, I don't know. Well, sometimes you might just want to, I don't know. Okay, well, that's cool.
Yeah, I'll play around with that idea. So anyway, so yeah, so what you want to talk about today? You want to go first? You want me to go first? What you thinking?
I don't know. I was thinking about, I don't know, maybe let's do mine first.
All right.
I was thinking about how to handle rejection, because as I was telling you earlier, I had made a resolution, kind of basically, not officially, that I was not going to enter anymore or apply for any more comedy festivals, because sometimes, I think I remember one day, within the last couple of years, that I got 2 rejections within a week. And it's just it's so hurtful and soul crushing sometimes. And I'm just you know what, they're not really going to do that much for me anyway. I'm just not going to do it anymore. But then there's a couple of them that I've seen that I just thought, I really want to do that. So I decided that I'm going to apply to the ones that I really want. Maybe the 1 or 2 that I've applied every year that has rejected me over and over and over again, I'm going to give up on,
That's fair.
But I thought, I'm not going to just give up, because that's not the kind of person I am. But I also thought, I've also got to figure out how to not take the rejection so hard. Because as you know, I'm a really sensitive person. And so being in a profession that is so built on competition, and, there's so much cutthroat stuff that goes on, I thought, well, I need to look into what can I do to be able to handle the rejection.
Right.
Not that I'm planning on getting rejected, but there's only so many spots. So let's get realistic.
Well, I know
you want to say something. There you go.
No, I was just thinking through that, because I know when get from a sales background, they talk about, you need to go through 25 no's before you get to a yes. And there's that idea that if you can see that rejection as getting you closer to the yes, that's one way that I've heard. It's something that's not easy for me either. So it's
yeah. I found an article. And there was one thing that I found. Well, there was more than one thing, but one thing I found in it that was really valuable was I thought my first reaction, when I am rejected for something. I mean, this isn't necessarily just career. It could be a well, for me, it couldn't be, but for somebody else, it could be like a breakup or,
Right.
dating or a friend rejection. And my first reaction is to, want to go complain to somebody about it and lament about it, right? And in this article, it was like, well, first of all, they were saying that rejection is kind of a primal thing. Like, it's kind of like being the feeling of being kicked out of the group, and so that's a really primal response to be hurt by rejection.
Yeah.
But they said before you do like all the, like I need, like I need to process this. Well, sure, we all need to, but first do some self-care. Like, just like remove yourself from the situation in front of the computer or wherever, and go
Yeah.
for a walk or a ride or a bath or a whatever. Just go do something that's taking care of your actual physical body.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to music, something that makes you feel good and makes you calm down. Then you can process. And I thought, you know what? I've never done it that way before.
Yeah, and I think
Like
that's a good idea
remove
because
myself.
yeah, it takes you physically out of the state of mind or the situation you're in, which will help you kind of ease your state of mind before you come back to have that
Yeah,
thought
because then
work.
you'll be a little bit more rational than when you sit
Yeah.
down to assess. Because I mean, I do fly off the, I don't say fly off the handle, but I mean, you're my person that I complain to. Sorry, you
That's
and
okay,
Dave.
I
So
hear.
you get that first reaction of mine where I'm either really hurt or really upset or really
Yeah.
whatever, and maybe if I just walk away first before I do that, it will help.
Mm-hmm.
But they say, like maybe journal it first and just to pay attention to like what emotions that you're feeling and
Yeah.
what actual things are causing those emotions. Like I'm feeling well, I don't want to say rejected. Of course you're feeling rejected. But to me, there's like that feeling of like nobody likes me. That's how I take it. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me.
And it's really hard, I think, when you are journaling and when you're having that conversation to pay attention to the words that you're using that are qualifying things where it's no one. Then it's like, well, wait, people like you. So
Right.
is that fair to say? Or yeah, I actually had a similar conversation with my client yesterday about how we're paying attention to how we're wording things. Because I was talking about the idea that if we're not good at something, we can't say I'm not good at this. We have to change the conversation we're having and say, I'm developing the skills to be proficient or to be really good at XYZ, whatever you're working on. It's like if you don't feel like you're a good comedian, say, you know what? I am working my comedy muscles and I am developing that part of my skill set. And as he was writing it down, he started to write the word, I'm still working on this. And I was like, no, don't put the word still, because now you're like putting yourself down by saying that. Don't put anything that qualifies it. Just, say that. And then when you do find yourself saying, I'm not good at this, and because we're going to go to our old mindset quite a bit, but after you've said the sentence, just add the word yet. I'm not good at this yet. I'm not, I didn't get accepted yet. And that way, when you slip into that space where you say the old sentence that we're trying not to say, if you're like, oh wait, I can repair it if I just add that word yet. Like, I'm not a millionaire yet. And I have to do that a lot too, but I like that idea of you were saying about journaling it, because then you can physically see what you're saying to yourself and what words you're using.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's best, I think, to do all this. They were suggesting you do all this before you go call your person that you vent to.
Okay.
So you've kind of already done somewhat of the processing of the situation and, really pinpointed what exactly it is that hurts about this.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you were saying, words matter, that the next thing is to really work on your self-affirmations.
Okay.
Whatever they are, and just to spend time with people who do care about you, who do value you.
And I think it's important to have these plans or rituals, because there's that fine line, like you said, you don't want to manifest a rejection by preparing for a rejection, but you need that toolkit kind of there ready to go.
Right.
So you've kind of like, oh, I know what to do in this situation. I'm going to do these things so that you're not swimming and making the choice in the moment when you're in your worst thinking.
Right. Well, and I'm also getting ready to, it's like time of year to start planning your like summer shows. And I do want to take a couple little trips. So I need to reach out to some people, and I notice I've been putting it off. Like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. So part of that is tied up into this. But then they did say that, like I was saying that, once you get to that point, then spend time with people that you love and that care about you. But they were also saying that even if you can't do that, that even if you just have a picture of them, like you and this person having a good time together to revive a memory, that also does the same thing, as far as the response in your body, that looking at a picture or thinking about them.
Yeah, I was surprised when I learned that your body physically feels the same way with a memory as it does with the actual event. So it doesn't know the difference. It feels like you're reliving it. So you get the same endorphins and all that kind of stuff, or whatever the feel goods are.
And then, of course, like take care of yourself and that kind of stuff. But sorry to interrupt you there. But one thing is, don't let rejection stop you. And that's where I could pat myself on the back that I decided not to let the rejection stop me. And also just, now from here on out, it's like, well, what can I learn from this situation? Like one thing I've learned is that I need a new freaking submission video. And when you're a comedian, like getting one where the angle is right, the sound is right, and the audience is right, that's the right length of time, like it's difficult.
It is.
Yeah. So that, that's something that I can say, well, it might not just be me, it might just be my video, actually. Because I would think, like, how could anybody who's seen me perform live not want me on their show?
Yeah. Well, and that is the thing, because there is the art of saying, okay, yes, I'm getting these rejections. What else can I do to eliminate the chance that I'll have a rejection? And maybe it's a better quality video. Maybe it's following up sometimes with the people beforehand so that they have an introduction. Because that's what I run into with when I quote gigs, is if I call and follow up and don't just send the quote over, then I have a better chance of actually booking a gig. But call and follow up. I will also, when you were talking about not letting rejection stop you, I thought about something that I was thinking about earlier when you were talking about festivals earlier today, because, it's really simple if you don't want to have rejections to just not send in a submission. But, that's the safe route. And then you never have any of those successes that you're going for either. We could not get booked. We could never sell a product. We could never go on a date if we just never ask for it. And we're going to feel very safe and justified that we never get turned down, but then we're not going to have any of the fun or any of the benefits or any of the success that we want. And so we have to see this as part of the success is the rejection. Like it's all part of the package. There's no success without being told no.
Well, there are a lot of comedians that say, oh, like festivals suck and that's not one of the good ones anyway. And, this and that. And there's a certain amount of that's true, is that you have to be really careful about which festivals you apply to. And this is not like general information, but the point being is that, it's easy to sit there and just say, oh, that's not a good festival, I would never apply. Okay, you don't have to make yourself vulnerable that way.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the thing, is I think that there is importance to being selective on where you're going to put yourself out there. Like, if it's not something you really want to do, then don't put yourself in the situation for that, because you also could get accepted and be like, oh, shoot, I don't even want to go to that one. Now I've got to fly there or whatever,
Right.
So you got to be careful to be purposeful in that.
Yeah. So I'm checking you know, the date when they are and like where, like one came up today that they were talking about. It's in Vegas. Of course, I'm going to apply for that one because,
Of course.
which I also heard Vegas is removing its mask mandates.
Mm,
So when Carol and I go in April, we can wear lipstick and people will see it.
nice.
So
Damn,
yeah,
I could go do my mustache and it wouldn't
yeah,
get messed up.
see, I think you need to go with us.
I just got to get 1 or 2 more gigs and I can make that happen.
So yeah, that's all I had. But I
I
feel
love it.
better just now that I like looked into a little bit and like, okay, I've got like some tools in my toolbox. So
Mhm.
I'm not going to need them because I'm going to get all acceptance letters, but you know.
Yeah. I also think too, it's important to pace ourselves and, you know, like sometimes it's like, oh, I'm going to send out 20 things right now. And it's like, no, you know what? Let's send out a couple this week, 1 or 2 next, you know, like figure out, you know, or prioritize. Okay, here's the 10 of them, and you looked up all the dates on when they need to be done. But be like, okay, well, this is the one I really want to make sure I do, the Vegas one, and then I'll see what the next most important one or next best fit.
Right. I do see that we have a comment, but for some reason I can't read it. So
Well, thank you for your comment.
yes,
We
thank you for your
appreciate
comment.
that.
Wherever you are, we will answer it later when we can see it.
Yes, we will.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
I wanted to talk about really how to really get your mindset in the right space that you don't waste resources. For me right now, I've got a lot of headspace around that, particularly with time, because I have kind of set things up so I've got a little bit more time to work on my business right now. And I don't want to end up doing things where I lose track of time. You know, so one of the things I'm working on is going back, kind of taking my own advice of having my time budget set up where I'm like, okay, I have 168 hours per week. How much is going to get dedicated to each slot of time? And be really diligent in the fact that, okay, if I'm like with my business is because there are things that get scheduled for me. There are client meetings, there are things like that. There are some networking things that I'm part of, but those aren't that time where I'm sitting down writing, sitting down working on marketing. And that's what I really want to get some specific time set aside to, so I can get back to getting my podcast episodes out there and produced and get another book written and do some blogging, all these things that are very important. And meanwhile, I'm making TikTok videos.
Right.
So, so one of the things that I'm doing is, because what's hard for me is my week has a lot of variability in it. So I can't say, it's hard for me to say every Tuesday at this time, this is my block of time. So what I'm doing now is, instead of trying to find that big block of uninterrupted time that's just impossible to track down, I'm looking each week at which days I can come up with 2-hour blocks that I can dedicate to those things. And some days I might get them back to back where I have 4 hours, but sometimes it might be, you know, 3 or 4 different days where I have two hours each. And that way I can spend time moving things forward, because things don't just move forward if you don't purposefully have a plan and create a strategy to make it happen. So.
Right. As much as we wish it was easier than that.
Mm-hmm. And you know how that is, because you have full-time job, you have family to take care of, you have social life, and this whole, you know, life as a comedian. And so there's times where it's like, how am I going to get all this done?
Mm-hmm.
Well, have you had any, you don't have an article for me, do you?
No.
I was like,
No.
come on, I need your advice. No.
Well, I'm lucky because my job, I only work 6 hours a day.
So
yeah. I'm home every day at like 2:10 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much always have a couple hours in the afternoon to do whatever I want with. Whether I use them wisely or not is not, you know, so I mean, I'm not really juggling time. It's just it's the discipline. And I guess it really just goes with like, how bad do I want something?
That's
you
true.
know,
Yeah.
like if I know I'm going to Vegas and I know I want to put out some feelers of like, can anybody book me when I'm there in April? But I noticed that I'm kind of, what do you call it? Like I'm hesitating.
I was gonna say a little gun shy, a little hesitant on.
Just because like the last couple times, I've gotten like one show and I'm there for like 4 or 5 days. And so when I went to I keep starting to reach out to Austin because Austin was so good and welcoming to me. But it's like I don't even have a trip to Austin planned. Like, why don't you? I keep telling myself, why don't you go for the one that you have? And it's because like it's not as easy. So that's what I struggle with, which has to do with like my rejection a little bit. So that's how my time is like, oh, if it's too hard, maybe I don't want to do it.
Well, I think it's hard too because you do need to have downtime. You do need to relax because otherwise you will get burnt out. So there does need to be a balance. And 2 things that I've done that I have found to be helpful lately is on days when I know that I'm going to need to kind of catch up on relaxing, I will put, rest and recharge or rest and relax on my to-do list. And sometimes that's the only thing on there. And it kind of gives me permission to do that. And I can then see that as being part of being productive. It's like, oh, this downtime is setting me up for a busy week. And it's not just me being lazy. Because if I don't plan it, then I end up having guilt attached to it. And so I don't actually get the rest out of it because there's stress there. The other thing that
do that to ourselves, like feel guilty for resting. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that's exactly true. The other thing that I've started reframing in my conversation with myself, kind of like we were talking about with the rejection and reframing things, is that I'm really looking at the things that I need to do for my business. And I just said need, and I'm trying to not say need, but I've looked at things where I say, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. Like in order to get to where I want, these are all things I need to do. I'm trying to reword that and use the word choice, that I'm choosing to do these things, because then it doesn't become so daunting and it doesn't become this, oh my gosh, there's just this huge workload and do I really want this? But it's like, no, you know what? I'm choosing to focus on podcasting right now and get episodes out there. I'm choosing to focus on blogging because that's where I want to have a presence right now. And then it makes it more freeing and a lot more fun. And it takes some of that stress out of it too, because anything that I do for my business, I could choose to not do and not have the rewards that go with doing them.
My eye is twitching, like really.
Oh.
Really severely twitching. Yeah. Well, when I used to sell Mary Kay, one of the things that we did every week was like set out a calendar every single week and like where, we'd block out like our work time and then block out our, different things. And then like purposely like, okay, I'm going to make phone calls on this day at this time, that helped me a lot. But I don't like to like micromanage myself that much. I'm too, but it's because I have a tendency towards laziness, let's just say. Now people think that's funny because I'm always going, but
yeah. I also feel like I have a tendency towards a lot of spontaneity. And so I have to protect myself from that by making sure that I'm not spontaneous unless I got a certain amount of tasks done. So now what I've started doing is like having kind of that list of these are the critical things that have to get done before I start before I go out into the day, and make sure that those get done right away first thing. And then sometimes I could do more things in those categories, or something might come up and be like, oh, I'm going to go do this. But
I was just thinking how different this show would be if we talked like we always talk. Like, I mean, we talk like this a lot when it's just you and me, but there's also a whole bunch of shit talk that goes along with it that we're not doing. So
we're not always doing that much shit talking.
Okay.
I mean,
Now we have certain targets that we like to talk about, and that's fine. They deserve it, whoever they are.
Well, like you said, it's a cutthroat industry, and comedy is interesting because it is um it is very it's very, there's a lot of clicks, there's a lot of people who give each other opportunities, which is really not any different than the rest of the business world. And it's feels more obvious sometimes because it seems like it's all separate businesses. So it should be like, oh, how come I can't get on this or they're on that? It's always the same people on the same shows. And you kind of see, oh, they're producing a show, it's going to be the same, 6 people.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, that's just, you get your allies and you get your people that you partner well with and that you vibe well with. And there's pieces of that are just natural human behavior. And then there's pieces where it's
Right.
like, well, I guess they just don't like me.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. I don't like them either.
That's true. I know I came to some really strong realizations just this week that certain people that I have really wanted approval from,
Yeah.
strongly craved, I don't like them. So
Mm.
why was I caring what they think of me?
Yeah. That's a quite a realization.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes people are in positions of power and,
Yeah.
you have to do the thing, but then sometimes, yeah, well, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. But it does kind of tie into that rejection thing of we need to be kind of like when you talk about the festivals that are less desirable than others, we need to be aware of where we're seeking approval and be like, okay, why am I looking for it here? And is that a worthy thing for me to spend my time and energy and emotion on?
It kind of reminds me of when somebody's like in a bad relationship, right? And then you'll
Yeah.
ask them, like, why are you with him? Because I love him. And I remember this really helped me end my relationship with my ex. I remember Dr. Phil saying, okay, so tell me what's so lovable about him. He said this to like a woman.
Hmm.
And when I realized that I didn't really have a list, I couldn't really say anything that was really lovable about him, except he was good in bed and I thought he was handsome. Well, so what?
Yeah.
So anyway, like it's kind of the same situation. It's also about like who do you surround yourself with? You need to
Hmm.
surround yourself with people that lift you up in all
Yeah.
circumstances. So
Right. Yeah. Because if you're constantly begging for attention from people, and I used to be that guy where it was like I was trying to get into the crowd or get people that I looked up to give me props or pay attention, and it's exhausting for one thing, and it's constant like little bits of rejection where it's like I didn't get the compliment, I didn't get to sit at the table with them, I didn't get the second look, they whatever it is, there's just this at some point you're like why am I putting myself in a situation to be let down when there are people right across the aisle or right around the corner or in the next room over that are asking me to come sit with them or that enjoy my company.
right. Now, like, of course, you in business, you can't always only work for people that you really like. Sometimes you're going to
Right.
work for people you don't like that much. But yeah, they are exactly right. And it's something that Chris Zapata says a lot is, instead of worrying about like, why did that guy get this instead of me? Just know that because it wasn't your path. Your
Right.
path is somewhere else. You got to find your own path. And I
Hmm.
really like been using that a lot in my head lately. So thanks for that, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, very good, that's solid.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I see this a lot where even with my business and stuff where I think, oh, I see someone doing this, I should go do that. I see someone else doing this, I should go do that. But it's not my path. And I get on the path and they've already had the rewards of being on the path ahead of time and now I'm coming up behind. So but I could go blaze a different path and be ahead of other
Right.
people or be ahead of that person in a different way. And we need to be able to look for that and realize that that's okay.
Right. Well, and that's all part of owning your awkward, right?
It is part of owning your awkward, and sometimes I have to own my own awkward. And
Well, I love having you on TikTok because to see you doing like a goofy dance today, I like went past that and I was like, oh my God, Andy's perfect for TikTok because he'll do these, stupid things that I
They are
can't
stupid.
do,
Oh,
but I mean, but they're funny, so I got a lot of play for my Sex and the City thing. So I'm like thinking, okay, it's those kind of skits I can do. Oh, I'm going to work on some, but
and it
you can
seems
do
like
that.
it's, when I was trying to figure out what I was going to post first, and I was talking to Emily, she's 24, so prime age for like learning
Right.
from on this stuff.
Did you
And I was
call
like,
her a
I'm
primate?
prime age for this kind of stuff. Anyway, but she just looked at me and
24,
said,
so she's a primate. No, go ahead.
but I just kept saying like, I think I'm trying to figure out for my first couple videos this or this or this, and she just looked at me. She's like, I just think you need to not think about it so hard and just put something out there.
Right.
And I noticed that the videos that seem to get a lot of play, or that at least that I see, they're like 15 seconds long. They're stupid and silly, and they're really about nothing. And I was like, I did that mustache one. I'm like, when you wake up with a bed stash, and like it's just one sentence, 15-second clip, and it's not a whole thing. And so
yeah, you're not making an Academy Award winning movie. It's just like for fun or whatever.
Yeah. And if it gets some play, great. And I'm just going to keep practicing around with. I'm trying to do different styles of videos, different times, just to practice different features and filters right now. And I want to get a good like 12 to 20 videos in there. So if people like, if I have one that hits it big and someone like finds me, that there's at least, something. So it's worth following.
Stuff. Yeah, that's one thing I learned at Burbank Comedy Festival when I did that festival. Is the one thing I took a class about like social media or making videos or whatever, and they were like, don't overthink it, don't worry about it, just start making stuff because you'll get better as you go along. And then at some point, if you want to go back and delete the early ones, you can, but you're not going to learn until you're doing it. So
yeah, and then you've got the history.
Yeah. Well, great.
Yeah. Well, I love it. I'm looking forward to where we're going to go this year.
I know.
Rejections and all.
I really have a feeling like there's big things coming.
There are.
I really think there are. And I'm really excited for this weekend. It's going to be a fun one. Well,
it is going to be.
I call it this weekend. It's Sunday and Monday, but it's,
Yeah. It's this upcoming little bit here, and look forward to seeing all of you there. Don't forget 2 chances. Nate Jackson's at 8:00 on Sunday after the Super Bowl. You can come to the show. You can come to Super Bowl first, or just come to the show. And 7:30 at Odd Otter. So
if you need tickets for either one, go to CheriHardman.com. You can get the tickets on there, or it will direct you to where you need to go. So you don't have to go.
And if you're watching this on Facebook, follow Bubble Wrap Comedy, and you'll never miss any of the shows that are coming up.
That's true.
That is true.
All right. Well, I think my husband went to go get dinner.
Yum.
And
I think I'm gonna go grab a snack myself.
Because we're old and it's 4:45, so.
Okay, must be dinner time.
All right. Well,
till the next time.
I'll see you Sunday.
I will see you then.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Cheers.
It won't go away.
I was like, did my computer freeze? It's been a pleasure, Cheri.
There we go.